I've been studying a lot about God lately, and there's a really interesting aspect of God that I'd like to share with you all. It actually revolves around a question I remember struggling with when I was younger. Who created God? I know what the Bible has to say about God. It tells us that He's eternal and that nothing existed before Him. But really though, what came before God? Who created Him? Where did He come from? I think it's really hard sometimes for us to wrap our heads around the idea of eternity. But I think if we allow ourselves to do that for a few minutes and just try and grasp how awesome and alien that is to us, we'll come to a much deeper appreciation for God. It's not hard to imagine why we struggle accepting that nothing came before God. We live in a contingent world. We're contingent beings. To say that something is contingent means that it owes the explanation for its existence to something else. These contingent things were dependent on something else to cause them. I am a product of my parents. They were a product of theirs. A wooden chair is the product of the lumber that was used to fashion it into a chair and the woodworker who crafted it into that chair. We can imagine other possible worlds or scenarios where the tree that yielded the lumber for that chair actually died in a drought, and therefore the chair never came into existence. Or we can imagine that my parents never met, or that they met and really disliked each other. And that brings us to the same end result. I would have never come to exist. This is a common trait shared by everything in our world. It's all contingent. God, on the other hand, is in a completely different category. He is what we would call a necessary being. He exists necessarily because He existed without the universe. Before time and space began, there was God. There is no set of circumstances that could have occurred that would have caused God not to exist, because His existence isn't contingent on any circumstances. And this takes us back to our original question: who created God? Where did He come from? I've come to learn that there's no way to answer a question like that, because the question itself is illogical. It would be like asking how many inches long the smell of a rose is, or the name of the first married bachelor. The question itself is just absurd. In essence, the question is asking, what caused the uncaused creator of the universe? The Bible tells us that He has no beginning and He has no end. This is the explanation for the oddly phrased "I am" name that God gives to Moses in Exodus chapter 3 when asked. The phrase "I am" would have been commonly used in a number of situations. I am the eldest son of Abraham, or I am tending the sheep. But to simply say "I am" is the ultimate expression of self-sufficiency. Jesus Himself claimed the title "I am." When repeatedly asked about His identity, He said, "Before Abraham was, I am." He was saying in no uncertain terms that He was God. One of God's most emphasized attributes is His holiness. God's holiness means that He is separate, different, not common. One of the things that makes Him so different and separate from the rest of creation is just that. He was not created. He never came into being. He's utterly unlike anything else that we experience in life. In Isaiah, the seraphim are declaring His glory. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. The whole earth is full of His glory. If anything in this life is worthy of our worship, our adoration, and our awe, it would have to be the uncreated creator of the universe, the uncaused cause, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the great I Am.